Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. Today, update number 3 on the Strength Stacking Maroider, namely Aesthetic Strike Shockwave Chieftain, using Brutus Lead Sprinkler to generate damage out of stacking strength for the flat fire damage. So, yesterday the TLDR was, we pushed into, we cleared the white tier maps, the yellow tier maps, we pushed into high tier maps, but we figured out at the Guardians and stuff like that, yeah, it starts to become very rough in the single target departure, but clearing is a very breeze with this character, and today we did a couple of changes, not too many, but still they were very effective. So now I'm doing I even had possessed Guardians and stuff like that, was not a problem. I also killed Maven, and Maven was, yeah, the character is very tanky, okay, but it doesn't really deal a lot of damage. The Maven fight actually took 24 minutes, but I still did it, so yeah, I could do more damage, but things are looking better today. I changed my gems, I changed my flasks, and I did revamp the skill tree a little bit and made some adjustments left and right, and it works out pretty well so far. In terms of the currency, another day, just absolutely no drops. It's actually so crazy at this point. We have a play time of 1 day 16 hours, so about 40 hours right now. We have killed 270,000 monsters. We dropped 1 single Exalted Orb, 0 Divines, 0 anything else that is valuable. We had a Widow Hail drop today that rolled with 154% out of 250, so that is completely garbage. And I got my first Eyes of the Great Wolf drop, which is quite nice. The bad part is, it is, I think, the absolute worst Eyes of the Great Wolf I have ever seen. 10% chance to freeze, shock, ignite, and 14% increased area of effect. Like, if the game gives you a lemon, you know, it doesn't matter. Fact is, drops are absolutely dog shit. I spent probably 3 divines today in my gear talking about flasks and buying gems, and I even I grinded a lot today, so I leveled up my gems from level 1 up to level 20 on every single, or almost every single slot, so I've been grinding a shit ton, but as I said, the drops are just not in our favor, but it is what it is. It is just very slow progress, but therefore, you know, slow and steady, I guess, wins the race, or dies starving or something like that. I would say let's do a map showcase, and then we talk about the stuff that I changed. Let's run a crater map over here. So you're gonna see that the mapping aspect is super fine for now. Another thing that I want to mention is that I made another Atlas passive tree, because as you remember, I really wanted to do, what is it, a Ritual, but Ritual is actually complete, I would say, overtuned. So what is the problem with Ritual? First of all, they added a shit ton of wild mood monsters on there, and I think they are a bit overtuned, especially when it comes to these unique monsters in there. And the amount of on-death effects in a Ritual is absolutely ridiculous. There is some green volatiles. They do so much damage, and in one Ritual they can spawn probably, you know, you have to constantly run, otherwise you get just blasted with those things. And I don't know, I would say 100 of these volatiles are up at one point, so that is absolutely ridiculous. And I figured out, you know what, we're not gonna do that, we do something else. So I decided for some easy strategy, basically, which contains we still have shrines, we have Nico, but we also added strong boxes and some harbingers. But as you see, tankiness wise is really nice. We're running 90% max res. Wait, this is a bit cheated here with the shrines, but it's 82% regularly. But if we have the ruby flask up, we're having 87% maximum resistance, right? So it is very nice. And with our enduring cry up that I now have spec'd, we're actually on almost 2,000 life per second. So this is actually really sick. So it actually kind of feels like an agnostic playstyle, right? So no dot, no nothing kills us. Another thing that I changed, which makes the character a lot tankier, I had yesterday Herald of Ash and Anger, and I swapped those out for Determination as well as Purity of Elements, just to get the ailment immunity. So we're well over res capped right now, and means I should also swap away from Alira, because this is what I took from like doing a campaign, basically all resistance, because I thought it might be like super nice early on to help you get res capped. But now we're like so over res capped, so tomorrow I'm gonna do this like one vendor recipe to reset my choice for the thing, right? I'm not sure. I think I'm just gonna go flat out for the 1 skill point, even though it's not a lot. But the other options, you know, the what is it, like 50 max life or something, is not really good. The resistance I don't need, and the 8% movement speed. There is an argument to be made for that, but I think this is like later on for like really endgame gear where you don't care about damage, where all you do is care about speed. But I think these 8% movement speed will not really be any noticeable as of right now. So I guess I'm just gonna take the 1 skill point, get a little bit more strength, a little bit more damage, and live with that basically, right? We also changed our main skill gem setup. So as I said, there's lots of like bits and pieces that I changed, but not really high investment wise. So I just hope tomorrow, first Divine Orb drop, it's about time, dude. I cleared the entire Atlas. I did almost all the pinnacle bosses, you know. I did the invitations today with all the 4 Conquerors. I'm literally just face tanking the majority of those. It is like very, very insane, especially with the Enduring Cry up, you know, like this is like our Endurance Charge generation now, so I don't have to rely on anything like Endurance Charge or Melee Stun or something like that. So let's take a look at the gear and what has changed. Basically, the setup, the gear itself is absolutely the same. And please note here, because I had comments like, why are you hiding a 50 Divines replica Albarn's Warpath in your gear and claiming it to be a leak starter? Bro, this is just for you. This is normal replica, normal Albarn's Warpath, and they're going for 2 Chaos, and this is already 4 Link with good rolls, okay? So, just to be clear. Good. What they changed from the main setup, basically, let's go over the links. We have Vitality, Arrogance, and Precision. I have a lot of life, so I don't think it's like too drastic to reserve those on life. Here I have Leap Slam with Faster Attack and my Blood Rage. Then on the helmet I have Mark on Hit, Life Tab with Assassin's Mark, and a Frost Bomb for monsters that are actually having life resistance, so we block that, or at least 75% reduced life regeneration rate. Then on our main links we have Static Strike, Shockwave, increased crit damage, Pulverize, the Inspiration, and ally damage with attacks. We have Berserk, Blood and Sand, which is not activated, by the way. I just have it to level it up, but I cannot reserve that yet. Then Purity of Elements and Determination. Then we have a Cast on Death Portal, which is just like, I always have this early on with mapping, but I went from level 90 to level 94 today, and I don't really die at all, so this is kind of getting useless at this point, but it was very helpful like in the first like 1 or 2 days. Then Battle Mage's Cry for the base crit, and Enduring Cry for the Endurance Charge generation, and a lot of like recovery rate. And here is one thing I want to mention here. I got a level 21 Shockwave because this is basically our main damage. So our main damage is basically Static Strike, the beams, and especially Shockwave, right? So I want to have Shockwave as the highest level, and we don't want to level up Static Strike. So the reason here is a cooldown management. It's very similar to like Fire Burst with the Herald of Thunder tick rate. Here is the same, right? My Shockwave has currently a 0.65 cooldown, right? And my Static Strike has a 0.33 seconds cooldown. So means the second hit after 0.66, my Shockwave is ready again for this like single target damage, right? Means at the moment, every second beam will proc a Shockwave, right? Problem is, if you level this too high, if I would level this now to level 20, it would go down to 32 seconds beam frequency. That means my second beam from my Static Strike will not trigger Shockwave because it's still on cooldown, right? So you need to like min-max that a little bit with the cooldown of your Shockwave. You can reduce that by cooldown recovery rate, but you cannot change the tick rate. So you don't want to level up Static Strike too high. Level 19 is perfect with my 15% CDR that I have over here. If you have lower CDR or no CDR, then make sure that you're not leveling Static Strike up too high. You know, you have to find a sweet spot. Good. For the flasks, we have a Corrupt Blood immunity or / bleed immunity life flask. We have a diamond flask with crit. We have a granite flask with armor, a ruby flask with reduced effective curses, and poison immunity since I don't really have a lot of chaos resistance. And since we're chieftain, if I pop in my ruby flask, you see that my resistance are going up to 87 all res. because our maximum fire resistance is equal, or at least counts for the lightning and cold resistance as well, thanks to the Balaka storms and breath. So this is like a very, very good things to have. And then we can stack a lot of fire resistance, especially now with the mastery for gaining life regen for uncapped fire resistance. Then we have here these like circular things where it adds 3 strength to every single node for non-unique jewels, so that's like nice for strength stacking. And here I have the war cries have infinite power, means I just use enduring cry, I get my maximum endurance charges, I use my battle mage's cry to get the crit effect and stuff like that, right? And the way I play it, I just go in, it's not like a slam build where I have to pre-use all my war cries, I just get my static strike up, and then I war cry because I have nothing else to do anyways, because I don't want to sit here and like hammer static strikes, like whatever, right? Good, so we talked about the gems and the flasks. Anything else that changed? I don't think so. A couple levels, so I took here the maximum resistance. So if you take the left path with the 1 max here and the 2 max here, we get 3 to maximum resistance with this cluster. So I think this is like worth spending those 3 points. I mean, 3 points for 3 max res is kind of nice. Maybe we can skip that one at some point because there is still 2 maximum fire resistance jewels, but a good roll jewel with like stats that you want to have is very, very rare. Good. That is basically all for today's gear upgrade. Let's take a look at the league mechanic. And here I've done a couple of changes. I basically decided after quite a while to completely stop going for income here, right? So I don't send any ships out there just like sitting here. I don't even care about that. It's not even too high. It's like level 5 or something, right? I started to develop mapping and I let them run quite a lot of maps today, mainly white and yellow tier maps. But they cost a lot of gold, like, I don't know, 15, 20,000 golds or so for like yellow tier maps. And it will go a lot higher as well. A friend told me today he has about 60,000 gold per hour consumption just because of his mappers, basically, right? But since they're running low-tier maps and it takes quite a lot of gold, I'm taking a different approach now, which is I don't want to spend anything on, like, resources here. That means I don't have income, but therefore I want to min-max all my buildings first, because I think, like, you know, spending a lot of gold for letting your mappers do white tier and yellow tier maps, fuck that. I'm just not going to spend anything, or at least just like the normal ones for like mining and smelting or whatever it's called, you know, the harvesters and so on and so forth, and just try to maximize every single building. Before then I can choose to just send everything with like millions of capacity on the ships and so on and so forth. So I got my mining rank to maximum. Today I also got my recruitment up to maximum. This costs a lot of gold, like 100,000 on the last stage and so on, but you get like very nice benefits. And I think the next one that I'm gonna go for is the farming. So farming and smelting. So basically all the passive income, whether like if I get my ores, basically what the miners can mine, then they send the ores to the smelters, they're gonna generate bars for that, right? And the farming is basically passive income from whatever you're harvesting, right? And you see, as you see over here on my stats here, we have thousands of everything. We're really bulking up, but I don't really care too much about it. It's just like, you know, I'm gonna make gold, I'm gonna have like my workers do stuff, but then when the next 100,000 gold, I'll probably just go ahead and level up farming, and then I basically just check, okay, what do I need? Here is just gold, so I can just upgrade that, but not going to do this now because I'm going to go to bed soon, so I want to have the gold in my storage just so my farmers can farm, my miners can mine, and so on and so forth, right? But basically, every time I go further, and then basically just adjust whatever currency, whatever I need, right? So if I go over here, I have everything here, I just need to click the upgrade button, right? And when I see, okay, I have like, for example, 6,000 orichalcum ore, that basically means I can just check where is this orichalcum ore, and then just, like here, this is like kind of useless, right? So if I have so much, then I can just remove 1 or 2 here and say, okay, what is my minimum? I have like very few Versium ore, so I'm just gonna put in some miners over here, right? Also, my miners are pretty much all over the place. This is like still from like very early rank 2, rank 3 and something like that. I have a couple 5, 6, 7, 8, and even up to like some are like level 10 or something, right? So what my plan is, I just don't care too much about it right now. All I want to do is get now gold to upgrade these 2 buildings. Then I want to really like fish for rank 10 on every single job and fill up my mine, my farming and my smelting to level 10. So I have like the maximum resources that I can get passively by just mapping and farming. And then I want to like do the shipping and the mapping device, upgrade this to maximum, get like level 10 mappers and really let them do high tier maps. And then with all the stuff that I have here, if I don't need them, I'm just going to send ships with like millions of resources into the Foreign Sea and see what kind of drops am I going to get there. So this is basically the current goal. But yeah, I started to do some delve because I think it's very nice. It gives you a lot of maps, and you want to have a lot of maps in store anyways for your mappers to just, you know, throw them in and let them run the maps for additional income. But yeah, this is today's update. I'm just going to continue grinding, and hopefully the replica Albrons are going to get cheaper at some point so I can finally afford them. I don't know what my currency state right now is. I would say like 15 divines maybe. I only have like 5 divines flat, but I think just based on like all these like bubblegum currency fragments that I'm getting, like guardian fragments and stuff, like essences, whatever I have here, you know, I think if I convert everything into chaos and chaos into divines, I maybe be like 15 or 20 divines at this point. We're going to see how things are going to look out tomorrow. All right, boys, thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.